A live look at Washington tonight, the White House, where political bombshells are expected this week during the much-anticipated testimony by Donald Trump's former fixer. Michael Cohen has begun 3 days of appearances before congressional committees. Today's lengthy testimony was behind closed doors, but Cohen did make a statement after it wrapped.
At this point in time, I really appreciate the opportunity that was given to me to clear the record and to tell the truth. And I look forward to tomorrow, to being able to, in my voice, to tell the American people my story. And I'm going to let the American people decide exactly who's telling the truth. So I want to thank you all again for sticking around. Have a good night.
There are reports Cohen will accuse the president of criminal conduct during tomorrow's public testimony. Cohen pleaded guilty last year to campaign finance violations, tax evasion, and lying to Congress. Joining me from Washington for more on what we can expect from tomorrow's long-awaited public testimony from Michael Cohen is Julia Manchester. She is a reporter with The Hill. Julia, thank you so much for joining us again this evening.
Thank you, Carol.
So what do we think Michael Cohen may have talked about today in closed-doors interviews with the Senate Intelligence Committee?
Well, judging from lawmakers' reactions and what they said about the testimony, it's a little unclear. You know, we saw that Senator Kamala Harris, a 2020 candidate, said she planned to question Cohen on everything ahead of the meeting, whereas some Republicans, such as Senator Susan Collins, said she wasn't permitted to talk about anything that happened during the testimony. However, there was a bit of a cryptic tweet that was sent out by the ranking member on the committee, Mark Warner, and he essentially said everything that Cohen talked about today didn't necessarily dissuade him from his current stance on the issue, which I would say is pretty anti-Trump and rather critical of the way President Trump has conducted himself throughout the Mueller investigation and, you know, in terms of the wider Russia probe. So it's a little unclear. However, I would expect that Russia was on the agenda, as well as those payments, the alleged payments President Trump reportedly made with Michael Cohen, with the women who alleged an affair with him.
All right, what can we expect to hear from Michael Cohen tomorrow?
Tomorrow, you're going to probably hear a bit of an explanation or maybe trying to gain some credibility on why he lied to Congress back in 2017 during a meeting then. That's why he's essentially going to jail in part. So we'll hear about that, as well as Michael Cohen's, I guess, his relationship with the president. You know, we're hearing a lot of reports that he may accuse the president of criminal conduct in the run-up to the presidential campaign. So that will be major. However, I expect a lot of Republicans to zero in on the fact that he already essentially lied. So he's not exactly a good witness in their regard. Yeah. However, Democrats will absolutely zero in on the issue of Russia and reports that Michael Cohen could bring the Trump organization into this and, you know, their alleged payments with other entities.
Well, how much of a factor is his credibility, or his detractors will say his lack of credibility?
I would say it's a huge factor at this point. You know, like I said, Republicans are going to spin this as Michael Cohen being something we can't really rely on in this way because he already lied once. However, Democrats have said that Michael Cohen has nothing to lose. He's likely to go to prison in May, and if not May, he's going to go somewhere down the line. He's a convicted felon. So you're hearing those two sides of this. However, it's interesting, Carol. I saw a tweet today from Congressman Matt Gaetz from Florida. He essentially, from what many Democrats have called witness tampering, he said that he essentially threatened to reveal information on alleged affairs Michael Cohen has had, and asked if he thought his wife would essentially remain faithful. So we're already seeing this open door testimony really play out in a very public way, and I think it could potentially get very ugly.
Well, how politically sensitive will his testimony be from a national security perspective?
From a national security perspective, it would be huge. However, I will caution this investigation in the Southern District of New York is separate from the Mueller probe. However, it could provide some insight as to how the president has conducted himself in the Mueller probe, or how the president conducted himself during the campaign. You know, whatever Michael Cohen talks about, whatever happened during the campaign, that will tie into the Mueller probe, and you can be sure that Democrats will seize upon that.
All right, Julia Manchester, reporter with The Hill. Thank you for joining me this evening.
Thank you.